welcome to my channel. On today's video we'll be talking about fair value gap. What is fair value gap, you'll be wondering. So in this video I'll cover all of that and help you understand what fair value gap is and possibly how to use fair value gap. So literally, what is fair value gap? Fair value gap are just spaces in the market where price moves very quickly past and didn't do so much there, which literally means that at that point there's an imbalance. So I'll just show you today how to spot your fair value gap on your chart. So here, this chart right here, so we have the bullish fair value gap, the bearish fair value gap. I'm going to show you all of that, how it works, why it works, what it works for, and the rest. So just stay put. So firstly, here we have you can see clearly this at this point there's a gap. So let me show you something. There's a gap at this point, so we're going to mark it out. This is how you spot it. So you can see that on this previous candle, this candle top to the next candle, you can see that there's a gap between it. That's literally a fair value gap. So it's usually of 3 candles. So the other candle to the third one always leaves a gap at the second one. Do you understand? There's no wick, there's nothing, there's just this plain space out there, nothing happened. That's literally an imbalance. So that's why smart money call it fair value gap. It's a gap. It's a gap amongst 3 candles. It's a gap. Sorry guys. So then you're wondering, how does this form? This happens between, that's why I said it happens between 3 candles. The first one and the third one, leaving the second one with no price action happening after the movement. So it usually happens after an aggressive movement, downwards or upwards. Those are when fair value gap are mostly created, and that's why it's a very big magnet for price to pull back to that point because of the imbalance there. It just went, it didn't feel nothing, it didn't do nothing extra, it just went towards the direction it was heading very aggressively. So all of that creates the imbalance in the market, because usually price is supposed to trend. That's its natural way of moving. It's supposed to trend. It goes up, it comes down, it goes down, it comes up, all of that thing. And then during a fair value gap creation, all of that thing don't happen. So which is why we call it an imbalance, because at this point price is not balanced. The whole point it moved from to, there's a very big imbalance there, because it didn't happen the way the market is supposed to move, which is creating higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, all of that. So now here we have this candle to this, which I told you 3 candle sequence, which is, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Now can you see that the wick of the first one and the wick of the third one leaves an imbalance here, which is why price had to move back here. So it can be used. Most people trade just fair value gap. It just depends on you. Most people add it as part of their confluences. So we're going to mark it out, the top of the first candle to the bottom of the third candle. That's us marking a bullish fair value gap. Literally it's bullish, because you can see that my candles, I use TradingView, and my candles, I had to change the settings. My candles are blue for the green candles and black for the red candles. So you already know this, clearly seeing it. So another thing is this, you can see price goes up, it comes back, and then it taps into the fair value gap. Most traders trade just fair value gap. That's all they look for in the chart, because they know this is a very big magnet for price to move back to that point. And that's why even for other blocks, fair value gap is very important for another block to be valid, because it has to magnet it back to that point, and then probably test it a little more Do you understand? Extend it with the weeks and all of that. But yes, that's all that it is. There's not so much to fair value gap. This is just it. There's an imbalance, usually between three candles and so on. So yeah, you can see price comes back in. If you were to trade this, you usually have your entry points perhaps around the beginning of this, and then your stop loss here, or extended a little further. But you can see price taps back into it and then moves upward. That's for a bullish fair value gap. For a bearish fair value gap, you can, let me show you another one. There's a fair value gap here too, because like I told you, this is the week of this candle to this candle. You can see all the space in there. That's the gap. That's all that fair value gap is. That's the gap. That's the imbalance. Because price moved downwards aggressively, that gap was created. That's the gap. That's all. Price magnets back into it. It has to. It does. Most times it doesn't respect all, because price has to respect market structure. So it doesn't respect all fair value gap, but it respects at least 80 to 90% of fair value gaps. And most times when it doesn't respect it on the higher time frame, it must have done that on the lower time frame, and then you can barely see that. That's why you have to do top-down analysis when you trade. Go from time frame to time frames to understand better. So now that's one, and we could mark this out for the other. Here. So here you can see there's this candle to the third candle, the week to the next week. You can see there's a gap in between. You can see price magnetic move backwards to that point, and then comes down, tests this one already, and then goes up. So now you also have to use this in conjunction with the market structure. Market structure is very, very important in all that you do. No matter what you trade, no matter how simple your setup is, market structure should always be considered in everything you do. So at this point, market is moving sideways. This is a 4-hour time frame, but if you're a swing trader, market is moving sideways, and clearly there's no way you're marking out two fair value gaps. You don't really have no business marking out two fair value gaps like this. But I'm trying to make you understand, this is just for educational purpose. This is not a trading advice. It's just for educational purpose. So there's no way you're going to be marking out two fair value gaps. Like, even though it got respected, for long-term trading, you have to add up market structure, know what your directional bias is first, before you're looking out for those fair value gaps and some other things that you add up to your trades. So yeah, that's really all that it is to know about fair value gap. Price retesting here, it comes down here, it tests here. So you can see that at this point it was a very good indicator to show you what price was going to move to. So that's really all because of the imbalance, and that's really all about it. So yeah, stay tuned for my next video. I'll drop link in the description for TradingView, for Exness. You can use Exness as your broker. They're pretty good. I'm not saying other brokers aren't good, but I use Exness, and Exness is good. So I'm going to drop the link in the description. So subscribe, like, share, and I want to see you on my next video. Thank you.